Max Butler wasn't your typical hacker. Most cybercriminals cooperate with the feds after getting caught, but Max's story started the other way around. He began his career identifying security threats for the FBI, but the lure of the underground world proved irresistible. Max ran one of the largest black markets for stolen credit cards, where millions quietly changed hands. To understand how he became one of the most powerful figures in cybercrime, we need to go back to the beginning. Max grew up in Boise, Idaho, where his father's computer shop exposed him to a world where computers were rapidly taking off in the 1980s. But his safe and stable world came crashing down at the age of 14 when his parents divorced. In Kevin Poulsen's book Kingpin, which details Max Butler's exploits, the split left Max devastated, reducing him to two modes: relaxed and full-bore insane. In high school, Max's behavior unraveled. He got his hands on the school's master key and raided the chemistry lab and sprayed a fire extinguisher in the hallways, which got him expelled. He went to live with his dad and enrolled in a Catholic high school. Though he dreamed of attending MIT or Carnegie Mellon for computer science, he chose Boise State University in order to be with his girlfriend, Amy. But when Amy started chatting with other guys in a MUD, an online text-based virtual world, Max flew into a rage. When she tried to break up with him, she claimed he put his hands around her throat. A jury found him guilty of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. 4 years in prison left him bitter toward the justice system. By 1995, when Max was released, dial-up internet was booming. However, Max struggled to find a job in the computer industry due to his criminal record. He moved to San Francisco to start fresh and adopted the name Max Ray Vision, a new identity for a new life. But he couldn't shake his old ways. Max shared pirated music, software, and games on Internet Relay Chat, a popular platform at the time, and was slapped with a $300,000 lawsuit from the Software Publishers Association. The fine was reduced to $3,500 when Max agreed to consult for the organization. This caught the FBI's attention. The FBI saw Max as an asset to catch cyber thieves, pedophiles, and terrorists. In 1997, Max became an FBI informant, identifying websites that were being used for illegally distributing files. He saw himself as a white hat hacker, using his skills for good. He also earned $100 to $150 an hour working for a company founded by former hacker Matt Harrigan. Matt's firm was hired by corporations to breach their own systems, to identify vulnerabilities before malicious hackers could exploit them. Max appeared to have turned his life around. He even met someone new, Kimmy, and they married and moved into a duplex in San Jose. But it wasn't long before he threw it all away. His life started to unravel after he discovered a major flaw in Bind, the crucial software that translates human-readable domain names like Google.com into numerical IP addresses that computers can understand. A single line of Bind's code enabled hackers to send oversized queries, causing its memory buffer to overflow and potentially giving attackers control of the system. Max notified the FBI and patched the error in the code, but also secretly installed a backdoor, allowing him to control the system whenever he wanted. He targeted U.S. military and government servers, notching up military conquests like points in a video game, as Kevin Poulsen described in his book. Max later admitted, "I'm not sure why I left that backdoor open. I got carried away and greatly overstepped my bounds." Security researchers at Lawrence Berkeley National Laboratory detected his attacks. An Air Force investigator traced the Bind hacks back to Max's home in San Jose after discovering he had set up pop-up alerts to notify him when he gained control of a system. These alerts were routed through his dial-up provider, and a subpoena to the ISP revealed his phone number, leading investigators directly to him. The FBI offered Max leniency if he would betray his friend whom he worked for, the ex-hacker Matt Harrigan, by getting him to admit he was still involved in illegal hacking. But Max refused. As he awaited his fate, Max launched whitehats.com, sharing his security research. He also developed a free database of intrusion detection signatures called Arachnids to help improve network security. He got hired at a promising tech startup for cybersecurity work, but then the FBI charged him for his Bind exploits. He pled guilty and was sentenced to 18 months in prison. When he was locked away, his wife Kimmy left him. While in prison, Max met Jeff Normanton, a con man. Although Jeff wanted Max's help hacking, Max claimed he wasn't interested, but he once again struggled to find work after his release and was so desperate he was willing to do computer work for minimum wage. Jeff then introduced him to Chris Aragon, a former drug smuggler and bank robber who realized credit card fraud was more profitable. Chris had the equipment Max needed to clone credit cards, like a high-performance laptop and a long-range antenna to intercept Wi-Fi signals. There were two main websites where you could purchase stolen credit card numbers, known as dumps, Carter Planet and Shadow Crew. But soon, Max started hacking the hackers to steal the numbers. Max pretended to offer free Amex dumps, posing as a well-known vendor. When other sellers clicked on the link, Max's malware gave him control of their systems, allowing him to steal their credit card data. Max explained his rationale this way. I convinced myself I wasn't causing harm because a given credit card was about to be abused by someone regardless. Well, sadly, that part is true, but it doesn't make it okay to be involved. I never wanted to hurt anyone. Chris used a magnetic stripe encoder to transfer the stolen credit card data onto the magnetic stripe of a blank or existing card. He also created fake IDs, as high-end stores often required identification for purchases. With the clone cards, Chris and his crew of young female associates went on shopping sprees at Bloomingdale's, snapping up luxury items like Coach bags, which Chris's wife Clara then resold on eBay. As law enforcement began cracking down on underground card forms, Max decided it would be safer to create his own marketplace that he could control. He launched Carter's Market in late 2005. Max hacked into a Florida data center to set up a hidden server, far from anywhere that could be traced back to him. Gone was Max Ray Vision. Now he was known as Iceman. Iceman hacked into various businesses, including a Pizza Schnitza in Vancouver, Washington, stealing 2,000 credit card numbers. As Kevin Poulsen details in Kingpin, the restaurant's vulnerable servers stored transaction data in plain text, leaving it completely exposed. On cartersmarket.com, Max offered different types of credit cards at varying prices. His appetite for power and control drove him to destroy his rivals. At 6'5", Max was physically imposing, but his real power came from his ability to take down entire empires with a few keystrokes. He used SQL injections in some cases, exploiting vulnerabilities in input fields to gain control of competitors' websites, allowing him to merge their databases onto Carter's Market. As Kevin Poulsen described in Kingpin, 10,000 criminals around the world, men with six-figure deals in the works, wives, children, and mistresses to support, hops to buy off, mortgages to pay, debts to satisfy, and orders to fill, were in an instant blind, adrift, losing money. They would all know the name Iceman. Carter's Market had 4,500 members at its peak, according to the FBI. As his operations grew, so did law enforcement's interest. FBI agent Keith Milarski was assigned to infiltrate Dark Market, the main rival to Carter's Market. He adopted the alias Master Splinter, inspired by the rat from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. To build credibility, he created a backstory that portrayed him as a notorious Polish spammer and got his name publicly listed by an anti-spam organization. While Dark Market was battling it out with Carter's Market for supremacy, Agent Milarski, aka Master Splinter, gained the trust of Dark Market's head, Jilcy, and convinced Jilcy to move Dark Market's servers to a secure server that he controlled. The FBI now controlled one of the largest criminal sites for stolen credit cards. But Carter's Market continued to evade the feds until a slip-up gave them the opening they needed. One of Chris Aragon's associates, John Giannone, was caught selling stolen credit card numbers to Brett Johnson, known as Golem Fun, a key figure behind the Shadow Crew website that had been taken down by the feds. Unbeknownst to John, Brett was now working as an undercover informant for the Secret Service. Investigators traced the crime by following payments made to John's corporate Bank of America account. John was arrested, and though he couldn't identify Iceman, he did reveal the identity of Iceman's partner, Chris Aragon. Investigators knew that to get to Iceman, they had to go through Chris. They arrested Chris after he went on a $13,000 shopping spree at Bloomingdale's. They also found stacks of counterfeit credit cards in nearly every room of his home. According to Kevin Poulsen's book, Chris and his wife made $780,000 on their eBay sales in 3 years and planned to leave the carding business to start a legitimate fashion company. In the hopes of securing a lighter sentence, Chris turned on Max, revealing that he and Max founded Carter's Market and identified Max as Iceman, the mastermind behind the site. After Chris's arrest, Max became paranoid and, as described in Polson's book, even bought a rope ladder in case he needed to quickly escape from the apartment he shared with his girlfriend Charity. Despite moving to another apartment under a fake name, the Secret Service was already tailing him. Around 2 p.m. on September 5, 2007, while Max was taking a nap, agents burst into his apartment, guns drawn. Although Max's computers were all encrypted, authorities caught a lucky break because his servers were still running when they arrived. When the computer is running, the decryption key is temporarily stored in the computer's memory, so it keeps working. Accessing the key from the RAM is much easier than attempting to decrypt the entire drive. Carnegie Mellon University's Computer Emergency Response Team retrieved the key from the RAM within 2 weeks. The key was, "One man can make a difference." Investigators found 1.8 million stolen credit card numbers in Max's computers, totaling 86 million in fraudulent purchases. In June 2009, Max Butler pleaded guilty to wire fraud charges. He had been held without bail throughout the legal process. In a pre-sentencing letter to the judge, Max wrote, "I don't believe further prison time in my case will help anyone. I don't think it is necessary because all I want to do is help. That said, I plan to make the most of the time I have left on this earth, be it in prison or otherwise. I have a lot of regrets, but I think my essential failing was that I lost touch with the accountability and responsibility that comes with being a member of society. A friend of mine once told me to behave as though everyone could see what I was doing all the time. But I guess I wasn't a believer because when I was invisible, I forgot all about this advice. I know now that we can't be invisible and that it's dangerous thinking." Max Butler was sentenced to 13 years in prison. His fiancée, Charity, decided it would hurt too much to wait for him and called off their engagement. While in prison, he still could not shake his old habits. Police accused him of arranging for a drone to drop contraband into the prison yard. His whole life had been a balancing act, struggling to control his impulses and channel them towards something positive, while often succumbing to the temptation of the dark side. In a conversation with Kevin Polson from prison, Max admitted he still felt the urge to hack. "I'm not sure how to really mitigate that, except ignore it. I really believe that I'm reformed, but I don't know what's going to happen later." Max was released in 2021. Meanwhile, his partner in crime, Chris, remains behind bars. He was sentenced to 25 years due to his more extensive criminal history. Max Butler's story is a chilling reminder of how vulnerable our personal information can be in the hands of cybercriminals. Did you know that data brokers are actively buying and selling your personal information right now? I recently received this email from Ticketmaster notifying me that my personal information, including my credit card number, may have been compromised. Cybercriminals can use data like this to make unauthorized purchases, take out loans in your name, flood you with spam calls, or even commit identity theft. In 2022, Americans lost over $10 billion to online crime. Fortunately, there's an easy way to ensure your information doesn't end up on the dark web, and it's free for you to try out. When you sign up for Aura, you'll see how many data brokers have access to your data. Aura then removes your data from these brokers, preventing them from selling it to third parties. To see how much of your information is out there today, you can try Aura for free for 2 weeks by signing up with my custom link, aura.com/newsthink. That's aura.com/newsthink. The link is in the description. You'll also get features like credit monitoring, identity theft insurance, a password manager, antivirus protection, and a VPN, all in one app. Again, that's aura.com/newsthink for a free 2-week trial. The link is in my description. Thanks for watching. For Newsthink, I'm Cindy Palm.